This year's election, South Africa will have a lot of work to do on its international reputation. That's the view of brand reputation expert Solly Moeng. He says the auditing industry plays a crucial role in affirming the credibility of multiple sectors. Let's go live now to Cape Town and speak to Solly himself about his latest writings on this issue. Solly, a very good afternoon to you. Thank you for speaking to us. Let's begin with just why the auditing role or the auditing firms are so crucial to the country's credibility and indeed reputation.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, and good afternoon to your watchers, to your listeners. The audit profession, like other sectors of the economy, play a really important role in determining the perceptions globally and at home about South Africa. And when fund managers and investors out there look at South Africa as a potential destination for the funds they manage or for their wealth, they will look at how that wealth is going to be managed. And the profession here, the auditors, obviously, which is made up of chartered accountants on the whole, has to play a role that is ethical. They have to manage these funds in an ethical way. They have to be without blemish. And they should be very mindful of both public interest and the interest of the investors.
And the blemishes on the audit industry in South Africa are quite big at this point, quite significant, because you think of KPMG and that apology it had to issue taking responsibility for its role in the stories that we saw come out as far as the state capture allegations were concerned. You've got, on the one hand, Deloitte embroiled in the developments around Steinhoff and the wrongdoing there. When you look at just the scale of those two scandals, for example, do you think that the profession will be able to recover? And if so, would it be a quick recovery?
Well, it depends on how transparently they do this and how realistically they do it. I think the industry, both as a profession globally, but also independent members of the industry, like the firms you mentioned, have to come out and say to South Africans, look, we made mistakes, or mistakes were made in our name, or crimes were committed in our names. These are the things that happened. This is how we think it came to happen, or they came to happen. These are the things that we want to put in place to make sure those things never happen again, because we understand and appreciate the importance of the role we play in shaping perceptions about South Africa. So the industry has a role to play, not only to talk to itself. They have to speak to South Africans, because we are the ones who are paying the price for, the opportunity cost for state capture is massive. It still has to be quantified fully.
I'm wondering,
and this industry has a role to play.
Forgive me for jumping in there, but I'm wondering if jail time for auditors who were involved in all of these scandals that we've been talking about would not be what finally convinces the ordinary South African that indeed firms are accounting and being held to account.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we know that during the state capture economy, our criminal justice system was compromised, weakened, and repurposed to serve the purposes of all those people who were involved in the crimes. So anyone who can be found to have committed crime, even if they are in this audit profession, they have to be brought to our courts. They have to be brought before our courts. They have to account for their actions. Nobody should be immune to criminal prosecution if they have committed crime.
In the aftermath,
but again, even if that were to happen, even if that were to happen, the industry still needs to come back to us.
I wanted to ask you about something else that's come up since these two stories, for example, broke. A lot of experts and analysts were saying that what needs to happen is we need to go back to the idea of audit rotation in order to see a more transparent and legal operation being run by the audit firms, be they involved with government or in the private sector. Why do you think there's been so much resistance at some level in the audit industry?
Well, exactly. I think the industry has moved over the years from just auditing to consulting, and indications are that they've made a lot of money out of consulting services. But then consulting and auditing have to be church and state. They have to be kept separate. And there's a whole issue of rotation as well. The industry has to come to us and tell us why it resists all these proposals for changes to be made in it, so that there's more transparency, there's more accountability, not only to the people who own the funds they manage or they oversee, but also to the public interest. I think the interest of the public has been overlooked massively by what's happened.
Solly, thank you so much for your time. That was brand reputation expert Solly Moeng speaking to us via Skype from Cape Town today. So, Gauteng.